I dared to open my closet at 3 a.m. and found a bone-chilling secret nobody talks about. It was a night like no other. The clock struck 3, the witching hour when the world fell silent and shadows came alive. Timmy had always heard whispers about that time, tales of ghostly figures creeping through the dark and secrets hiding within the ordinary. With a racing heart, he stood in front of his closet, the wood creaking ominously beneath his trembling hands. The air was thick, he could almost taste the fear, a sour tang that made his stomach lurch. What lay behind those doors? Was it just clothes? Or was it something far more sinister? With a deep, shuddering breath, he swung the door open. Dust motes danced in the slivers of moonlight. But there was more than just dust. A chill washed over him, a strange sensation that froze him in place. The closet was unusually cold, as if it were a portal to another world. Among the shirts and shoes, something glimmered in the shadows, something that didn't belong. It was a shape, an odd figure that seemed to shift and waver. Timmy squinted, his pulse pounding in his ears like a war drum. What was it? His stomach nodded. The closet felt alive, breathing, pulsating with an energy that was both mesmerizing and terrifying. Shadows slithered along the walls as if they were whispering secrets meant only for him. He stepped closer, an involuntary shiver racing down his spine. Was that a laugh? A soft chuckle that echoed in the silence? The sound sent jolts of ice through his veins, yet he felt pulled, like a moth to a flame, stepping closer, closer. Just as he reached out, the glimmer burst into a blinding light, illuminating the closet in hues of green and violet. Timmy gasped, stumbling back, the world around him tilting into chaos. In that moment, he felt his chest tighten, a lump in his throat as curiosity battled with fear. What had he unleashed? What truth lay hidden within the recesses of his own home? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Timmy steadied himself, breath hitching in his throat. The light flickered as a voice rang out, a honeyed whisper that felt like silk against his ear. Come closer, it beckoned, weaving through the maze of his thoughts like smoke. He was rooted to the spot, knowing he should flee, yet every nerve in his body sparked with the need to know more. What lay beneath those mundane shirts? What skeletons were truly hidden in his closet? The very air vibrated with anticipation, a shroud of mystery wrapping around him tighter and tighter, begging for unraveling. He hesitated, his hand hovering just above the glowing shape. It pulsed gently like a heartbeat, calling to him. Come closer. The whisper curled around him, ensnaring his thoughts. Nothing could be more terrifying or more intoxicating. Suddenly, the shadows in the corners shuddered violently. Timmy's heart raced as he stumbled back, knocking over a box of old toys. They clattered to the floor like a cacophony of forgotten memories. The noise shattered his moment of eerie calm, jolting him into the reality of his darkened room. But the voice, it remained, persistent. I want tea bite. It chuckled softly, an unsettling giggle that ricocheted off the closet walls. I promise I can show you what others can't. Timmy peeked back into the closet, his breath caught in his throat. Beneath layers of clothes, he saw a picture frame, suspended in the vibrant light. It wasn't an ordinary photo. It was moving, a kaleidoscope of swirling colors, faces twisting and morphing in an expression of boundless sorrow. Who are you? Timmy gasped, disbelief clawing at his throat. The glowing figure coalesced, forming a face. It was the image of a boy, not much older than Timmy, with eyes deep and dark, hinting at secrets too heavy to bear. I'm the keeper of truths, it said, its voice a haunting melody. What you lack, I can provide. But you must dare to know. Skepticism battled with an insatiable curiosity, igniting his hunger for understanding. He felt an overwhelming pull, like gravity was trying to crush him into the floor. Knowledge hovered just out of reach, teasing him. What kind of truths? Timmy asked, heart racing. About you, the figure replied, its lips curling in a strange yet inviting smile. About your family you think you know them? The stories they tell, the secrets they hide, I can show you everything. A chill ran down his spine. Visions of whispered arguments, furtive glances, and silence stretched across the dinner table flickered through his mind. What do you mean? But before he could question further, the wardrobe door swung wide, yanking him inside. Timmy was swallowed by a rush of the blinding light. When clarity returned, he found himself in a vast, otherworldly space filled with shades of violet and dark indigo. Bizarre shapes twisted in the fog, echoing like haunting silhouettes dancing on thin air. A strange yet familiar aroma filled the air, smoke and musk, mixed with an undercurrent of something metallic and cold. What is this place? He breathed, panic rising. Welcome to the realm of memory, the figure whispered as it drifted beside him. Your past is not what you think it is. You are more connected to it than you realize. Timmy's heart thundered. Memories began to unfold around him, popping into life like firecrackers, conversations he'd never had, laughter that echoed from faces he didn't know, shadows of family he had long lost darted past just out of reach. As the chaos of flashes enveloped him, he felt something surface deep within his heart, an image of shadows around family gatherings, muffled voices seeping in like poison. They were hidden, but always there, mere figments of a fragmented reality. An overwhelming sense of dread engulfed him. Yet, oddly, there was a glimmer of hope flickering among the ruin. Just when he thought he could grasp one of those fleeting moments, darkness suddenly swelled, crashing in like a wave. The chilling laughter returned, echoing and multiplying until it became a chorus of mockery. Are you ready to see the truth? An icy breath swept across his neck, and he spun around to face the figure. Timing growing urgent, the weight of his choice bore down on him. Or will you close your eyes, it invited, its smirk deepening, and let it consume you? Timmy stood frozen, knowing that the moment of choice was upon him, a fork in his path that could change everything. But which direction would he choose? With flashes of light swirling around him and secrets tugging at his very soul, Timmy realized he stood on the edge of a precipice. Would he dare to uncover the truth within the shadows or retreat back, leaving it all behind? The choice loomed above him, while unseen hands gripped his heart, and then came another whisper, urging him to step forth. But that voice wasn't the only thing echoing in his head. Can you really handle what lies beneath? The tension tightened like a noose, and Timmy inhaled, heart racing. With a steely determination, he took a step forward, ready to confront his destiny, only to feel the ground beneath him slip away. What awaited him in the endless void? Timmy's stomach lurched. An endless void yawned beneath him, swallowing his footfalls into a terrifying abyss. The sensation was like falling into deep water, no point of reference, just darkness pressing all around. He gasped, arms flailing in a desperate attempt to find solid ground. But the ground didn't come. Instead, he plummeted, surrounded by swirling shadows that whispered familiar secrets. His mind raced. Help! He called out, though he barely recognized his own voice. The figure, with its unsettling grin, floated just above, watching with piercing eyes that felt like they were digging into his very soul. Fear not, little traveler, it crooned, voice smooth as silk. You're about to discover the clarity you seek. Embrace the fall. Timmy's gut churned at the idea. Embrace? How could he embrace the unknown? Yet, curiosity clawed at him, the very thing that drew him in the first place. He wrestled with his panic, forcing himself to focus. Suddenly, the speed of his descent began to slow. The swirling shadows around him started to resolve into shapes, faces, once familiar, now grotesque in their distortion. Please, Timmy shouted again. What is this? As if answering him, the shadows rearranged themselves, revealing a chaotic tapestry, the faces of family members past and present. Each visage wore an expression of confusion, a muted scream echoing through time. His parents stood there, looking younger, their eyes wide with unspoken fears. Grandparents hovered just behind them, faces wrinkled with melancholy, whispers of forgotten grief curling around them like smoke. This is what they hide, the glowing figure said softly, its eyes shimmering. Unveiled truths that you can't grasp in the light. These are the memories they buried to shield you. But it's your turn now. A jolt of realization pierced through Timmy. They've been lying to me. You'll see why, the figure replied, pulling him closer to the scene. Step into it. With that, the swirling mass of shadows morphed, dragging him into a vivid memory, their living room, bright and cheerful, just as he remembered. But something was off. The laughter felt forced, the smiles painted on, a facade of happiness. He saw himself as a child, playing on the floor with a toy truck, while his parents sat just out of reach, their hushed voices raised in a furious whisper. "Why don't you tell him?" His mother said, voice sharp enough to cut. "He deserves to know." "Stop it." His father snapped, tense with authority. "Not yet. He's just a kid. He doesn't need that burden." Timmy's heart raced. What burden? The room began to fade, the laughter replaced by a heavy silence. An image of a small, faded box appeared, half hidden beneath the couch. The figure beside him shifted, sensing his pulse quicken. "That's your truth, Timmy." It waits, buried beneath all that silence before he could respond. The memory exploded, dissipating like smoke. He was thrust back into the void, breathless. The edges of his vision darkened, and he felt the weight of unseen eyes upon him. Dread washed over him, thick and suffocating. "Will you seek it out?" The figure taunted, a hint of challenge lacing its words. "Or will you let their lies chain you?" With the image of the box lingering in his mind, Timmy's resolve hardened. He had to know. "Show me," he shouted defiantly, gripping the empty air as if it could anchor him. The void trembled, shaking with the force of his demand. Shapes and colors twisted wildly, and then, crackling like fireworks, a new scene burst forth harsh and bright. A dilapidated attic, crammed with forgotten treasures and heavy dust. In the center lay the box, calling to him with an energy so powerful, it hummed through his bones. What secrets did it hold? Timmy's pulse quickened as he reached out toward the box. As his fingers brushed the worn wood, a rattle of anticipation jolted through him. He felt it in his veins, the weight of lies crashing upon him. But as he prepared to lift the lid, a deafening scream erupted from the shadows. "No, don't touch it." The air crackled with static, the world collapsing around him. Timmy's heart raced faster than ever. What waited within that box? Would he uncover the heart of the secrets or fall prey to the screams of the past? Time stood still in that fractured space, as the final whisper wrapped around him, thick with urgency. "Are you ready to confront the darkness?" He hesitated for a moment, then pushed forward, ready to face whatever lurked within. The moment Timmy lifted the lid of the box, a rush of cold air enveloped him. The attic around him flickered, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. He couldn't see what lay inside at first. A thick layer of dust whispered in the silence, stirred only by his frantic heartbeat. Then, he caught a glimpse. Tarnished photographs, old letters, fading trinkets entangled in cobwebs. But one item stood out: a small, leather-bound journal, its cover cracked and worn. An unsettling pull drew him closer, an instinctual urge to pry open its pages. Tentatively, he reached for the journal. The moment he touched it, a vivid image jolted through his mind: his mother, young and vibrant, smiling as she held a baby wrapped in a soft pink blanket. Timmy felt a surge of warmth that quickly morphed into confusion. Who was that baby? Was it him? It couldn't be. The attic shuddered, the light flickering violently, and he realized he wasn't alone. Shadows curled around him, dark and engulfing. They hovered close, tauntingly whispering his name, each syllable dripping with malevolence. "Timmy, come play," he shook his head, trying to dispel the fear clawing at his chest. "Stay back," he shouted, but the shadows only laughed, a chilling sound that echoed in the cramped, dusty space. Ignoring the manifestations, he pried the journal open. The pages felt brittle and rough under his fingertips. Scrawled in untidy handwriting, the words painted a scene suffused with secrets. "It's time to tell the truth before it's too late. The baby, she's not yours." Chills danced down his spine. What truth? The shadows closed in tighter, hungry for his fear. He pushed forward, trying to read on. Each sentence tugged at him, revealing pieces of a story laced with heartbreak and betrayal. Someone's hand grabbed his shoulder, a cold grip that made him gasp. He turned, finding the figure from before, its unsettling grin stretched wide. "You think you're ready, Timmy? Ready to unravel what you're not meant to know? Let me go?" he shouted, but the figure held him fast, its voice rolling like thunder. "You're already tangled in the web of your own making." The truth could shatter you. With a surge of defiance, Timmy yanked his shoulder away, breaking free from its grasp. He couldn't turn back now. I need to know, he declared, steeling his resolve. The figure's expression soured, resentment boiling beneath that slick surface. Then read, but be warned. Sometimes what S uncovered is scarier than what S buried. Timmy hesitated, thoughts swirling. Could he handle the truth? The space around him vibrated with impending chaos. Shadows writhed and contorted, growing sharper, more menacing. He took a breath, the heart-thumping silence threatening to suffocate him. With shaking hands, he turned the page. The next word sent a shockwave through him. Your father never wanted to be a father. The attic erupted into chaos as if the universe itself reacted to the revelation. Walls groaned and creaked. Shadows turned into claws scraping at the air. Timmy's heart pounded like a war drum. What else lay hidden in the pages? What would he learn about his past that could change everything he thought he knew? The journal began to glow, illuminating the darkness. Yet another scream sliced through the air, paralyzing him with fear. Help us, Timmy. You are the only one who can set us free. He could barely breathe, feeling time slipping away as he fought through the smoke of uncertainty. Was the truth worth the horror surrounding him? He had to keep reading, but would the knowledge grant him freedom or bind him closer to the shadows? With a mind spinning in conflict, he dove deeper, adrenaline pumping. Ignoring the frantic cries, he pressed on, determined to unveil the secrets that demanded to be revealed. What terrifying revelations awaited him in the next page? Would he stand strong when the final truth shattered his world? The moment Timmy turned to the next page, a surge of electricity jolted through the air, making the hair on his arms stand up. The shadows around him seemed to pulse, trembling with anticipation. Each breath felt heavy, laden with desperation. The journal's words flickered into focus, whispering truths that clawed at the edges of his sanity. Every baby deserves love, but not every baby is a choice. He stumbled backward, the journal slipping from his grip. It fell to the floor with a thud, its pages splaying open like the wings of a harbinger. Panic washed over him. The whispers escalated, swirling around him like a tempest of despair. Timmy read on. You have to know. His heart raced, thrumming against his ribs like a caged bird. Was this what his family had hidden all along? Secrets that choked the very air he breathed? Kneeling down, he reached for the journal, feeling both drawn to and repulsed by its pull. He couldn't avert his gaze. The next passage unfolded the darkness surrounding his origins. The baby may yet be alive. A cold sweat dripped from Timmy's forehead. He blinked, unable to comprehend the weight of those words. Each letter clawed deeper, burrowing into his mind. How could this be? He was wrong. There had to be some mix-up. The shadows loomed larger now, shrieking with life, feeding off his unyielding dread. Who are they talking about? Timmy rasped, his voice lost beneath the cacophony. Shadows fluttered like moths around a flame, each movement slicing through the stillness, each laugh taunting him as if to say the answers he searched for would be his undoing. Timmy, came the haunting voice again, but this time, it felt different, pleading. You can't turn away. You're the key, the only one who can loosen the chains binding us. He took a shaky breath. He could feel their eyes watching him, mingled with longing and sorrow, urging him forward against a tide of fear. I'm not afraid, he shouted, the words trembling on his tongue. But deep inside, he felt the fear coiling tighter, squeezing until it threatened to crush him. With another deep breath, he plunged back into the pages, his fingers grazing over the frayed edges. Your father made a choice, and now, you must face the consequences of his decisions. The ink seemed to pulse as he read those words, each syllable vibrating like a broken promise. Timmy's mind flashed back a memory of a heated argument, a shadowed figure in the doorway, a slamming door that echoed through his childhood. Suddenly, it all made sense. His parents' strained faces, the secrets veiled in silence. The weight of unspoken words shifting in the AIRS, if sensing the revelation brewing within him. The shadows lurched closer, their laughter now a frenzied din, taunting, threatening to consume him if he strayed any further into truth's embrace. You can't escape what you are. Your fate is sealed. Timmy slammed the journal shut, the abrupt sound slicing through the chaos around him. With trembling hands, he gripped the journal tightly, a fire igniting in his chest. He wouldn't flee anymore. He had to confront the shadows lurking in his past. Was he truly trapped in a fate not of his own choosing? His decision weighed heavily on him, but the flickering shadows urged him on. Dare you find out who the baby is, Timmy? Lightning ripped through the silence outside as he steeled himself. He had to dig deeper, to uncover what lay beneath the lies, even if it meant unraveling his very identity. With uncertainty gnawing at his gut, Timmy opened the journal once more, heart racing as he read on, desperate to unearth the tangled threads of his life. What awaited him on the horizon of the next page? Would unearthing the truth set him free or pull him deeper into darkness? The moment Timmy flipped the page, he felt the air around him grow colder, almost biting at his skin. The text on the page seemed to shimmer unsettlingly, and his heart leaped into his throat. You don't know who you really are, do you? It sneered, the words hanging like a noose. He shook his head as if he could dispel the sense of horror creeping in. Each word wrapped around him like fog, suffocating and dense. Your name, it's not just Timmy. Not anymore. What did that mean? He squeezed his eyes shut, hoping to erase the unfair whispers slinking through his mind. But they only grew louder. From birth, you were not meant to tread this path alone. They made a decision that still haunts you to this day. You were just a pawn in their game. Timmy's pulse quickened. Who were they? He had to know. The shadows cast on his bedroom walls swirled with impatience, shifting and twisting like dark smoke, daring him to turn from the truth. Heart pounding, he leaned closer to the journal, almost tasting the acrid fear that hung in the air. Understand, Timmy the baby is not your only secret. There are others, lurking beneath the surface. Others, who are waiting for you to discover them. With trembling fingers, he finished the passage. Details spilled out like shards of glass's birth, sealed in an envelope, hidden away in a dark corner of his parents' past. It was a mistake of desperation, the page read. And you must remember what they wanted forgotten. His breath quickened as panic fluttered in his chest. No this isn't real. In a flash, images of his parents filled his mind. They had lied about their past, creating walls around their family's history. A wretched laughter echoed, whispering the words he'd feared all along about being unwanted, about choices made for him without his input. Are you prepared to face the truth? The journal beckoned, its voice like gravel scraping against metal. Are you courageous enough to unearth the bones of a past they buried? Suddenly, darkness surged in, swallowing the room whole. The shadows twisted, elongating as they crept closer, their claw-like hands reaching out as if to pull him under. Panic rose inside him, a tidal wave threatening to drown him in uncertainty. I don't want to know, he shouted, but even he could hear the tremor, the lack of conviction in his voice. Too late, came the strangled whisper. You already opened Pandora's box. A loud crash reverberated through the house, causing Timmy to jerk back. Had something or someone just fallen? His heart raced, slamming against his ribs like an innocent creature trapped. With mounting dread, he edged toward the door. What was lurking in the shadows? What would it show him? He could flee, or he could confront the horror looming at the edge of the light. Taking a deep breath, he steadied himself. I'll finish this, he muttered, determination etched in his features. He turned to the next page, each flicker of the dim bulb casting ominous shadows that danced in sync with his growing fear. That he scanned the words, desperate yet drawn. What secrets lay waiting, just beyond the ink? And as he read, the air thickened, tremors of dread echoing within him. Each line revealed knots that needed untying. Yet as his courage soared, so did the shadows, desperately clawing at the edges of his resolve. Was he truly ready to unearth the secrets of his family that could tarnish everything he thought he knew? His heart raced not toward revelations, but deeper into the unknown. What lurked in the corners of the journal, waiting patiently to ensnare him? Timmy paused. A static silence settled in the room as if the world held its breath. Would he unravel the truth, or was this path destined for ruin? Only the next page could reveal if he was ready to uncover the darkness that tethered him to an unseen past. Timmy's fingers trembled as he turned the page. His heart was a rabbit, frantically thumping against the confines of his chest. The words jumped out, clawing for his attention, seducing him toward more unsettling discoveries. As he read, the cold air deepened, wrapping itself around him like the serpent in the Garden of Eden. tempting him into despair. Your existence is a tapestry of lies, the journal hissed, each phrase etched with weighty intention. A legacy built on dark decisions. Choices carved by hands far away from you. Timmy felt bile rise in his throat. What could be darker than the secrets he had already unearthed? The pages began to blur, the ink swirling into a whirlpool of chaotic dread. Puppets don't know their strings are pulled. The whisper grew insistent, slithering into his thoughts. You are not who you think you are. They wove a different destiny for you. Images stabbed through his mind, flashes of his mother with a worried expression, his father looking away, shame tangled in the shadows of his gaze. Did they know the whole truth? Did they think he was too naive to wonder about the past? Suddenly, another crash echoed from downstairs, a muffled grunt of something or someone shifting in the dark. Timmy's body tensed. He felt the panic swirl back, settling in like a thundering cloud ready to erupt. Face what's down there, the journal echoed ominously. Only then can you begin to reclaim what was stolen. Every instinct told him to bolt, but curiosity rooted him to the spot. A battle raged in his chest, the need for answers versus the primal urge to retreat into the safety of ignorance. He swallowed hard, his breath shallow. Go, he whispered to himself, gathering every ounce of courage he had left. The shadows crept even closer, and the unmistakable sound of shuffling grew louder in the dark corner of his room. He took slow, measured steps to the door, his heart drumming the rhythm of uncertainty. The journal was still open, its words flickering like a warning beacon in the dim light. But the shadows were there, too, creeping beyond the threshold, carrying dark promises and unanswered questions. As he stepped into the hallway, he glanced back at the journal, feeling the weight of expectations it imposed. The air buzzed with tension, and he clenched his fists. What awaited him was shrouded in darkness, but he could almost hear echoes of distant laughter, taunting him as he ventured further. Timmy arrived at the top of the staircase. Another noise emerged from below, heavier this time, a shudder of breath unanchored by fear or reason. He edged closer, heart hammering, feeling the wood beneath his feet creak under the weight of his dread. Do I want to know? He muttered to himself, biting his lip. What if there is something waiting? The stairs seemed to elongate, each step a decision that pulled him deeper into shadows stacked with nightmares. With a gulp, he stepped down, determined. The whispers kept spinning in his head. Who was he? More importantly, who was waiting for him? As he reached the final step, the ground beneath him felt unstable, as though it could give way at any moment. The flickering light from the exit cast a long shadow ahead, and he could make out a figure standing in the darkened hallway. A familiar silhouette, yet something about it was off. Timmy, the silhouette called out in a voice he recognized, but that carried an echo of something not right. His heart dropped as he took another step forward. Mom? He asked, voice trembling, and just as a lump formed in his throat, the shadows shifted to reveal the truth. But what he saw sent a chill down his spine as realization crashed over him like icy water. Was this the moment he had truly opened Pandora's box? Was he ready for the secrets that could shatter everything he ever believed? He stood frozen, the air crackling with tension, as the figure turned fully to face him. The figure stepped into the pale light, and Timmy's breath hitched. It was his mother, but her eyes were hollow, pulling away any comforting familiarity he once found in them. The warmth of their bond felt like a distant memory. She looked older, more worn, as if decades had passed in a single sleepless night, and he recoiled instinctively at the sight. Timmy, she repeated, but this time her voice was slurred, grating like sandpaper against concrete. You shouldn't be here. Mom, what is going on? Why do you look? He struggled to finish the sentence, fear coiling tighter in his gut. Don't. You need to go back, she said sharply, a flash of something darker flickering across her face. You don't understand what's at stake. Every instinct screamed at him to retreat and slam the door behind him. Yet the weight of the journal still sat like a brick in his pocket, compelling him to confront the truth he had chased down for so long. You opened that journal, she said, as if reading his thoughts. Some things are better left buried. His voice trembled. What did I unleash? What don't you want me to know? Her expression shifted from fear to something close to panic. There are things in this world, Timmy, things about our family. You think you're the only one who matters? You are a pawn in a much bigger game. The shadows seemed to stretch and recoil with her words, the air around him thickening with dark energy. A gust rattled the window panes, and the very foundations of the house creaked as though they were alive, echoing each of his rising heartbeats. "Mom, please." He stepped closer, desperate for answers. "I need to know who I really am." With that, her face twisted, the recognition of loss surfacing beneath all their years together, the love, the care. It was gone. For a heartbeat, he thought he saw something flicker behind her eyes, a spark of the mother he once knew. "You must promise me I can't help you if you go too far. You'll see faces that belong to another time, faces that call to you with a darkness you can't comprehend enough." He shouted, the words slicing through the thickening dread. "I'm done with cryptic warnings. What is happening?" She took a step back as if his words were barbed, challenging her to confront the truth. "They've been waiting for you. They want you back." A chill shot down his spine as images from the journal flared to life in his mind, dark silhouettes lurking, strings being pulled, laughter echoing like thunder. Who wants me back?" Suddenly, the house seemed to groan, walls vibrating as shadows thickened around them. The floorboards shifted, and Timmy felt the weight of something closing in. He could no longer tell where the darkness began and his fears ended. Timmy's resolve swelled as he faced his mother again, desperation fueling his courage. "I want to go back," without answers. But before he could protest further, a loud crash erupted from the living room, kicking up a gale of wind that swirled around him. The lights flickered with an anger of their own, and Timmy's mother quickly turned, her eyes wide with fear. "Get out!" she screamed, as someone else emerged from the shadows behind her. Timmy's heart raced as he watched a ghostly figure materialize, its presence a suffocating weight. It opened its mouth, but no sound emerged. Just an unending darkness that swallowed the room whole. He could feel the walls closing in, the malevolence thickening like fog. An instinct took over. "I want to let them take me." But as he turned to flee, he felt an icy grip seize his wrist, holding him painfully still. The darkness whispered, urging him to surrender, to embrace the forgotten legacy waiting just beyond the edges of understanding. "Timmy," the voice echoed, sweet yet sinister, wrapping around him like vines. In that moment, he realized he was not just fighting for the truth, he was battling for his very soul. With one last desperate look at his mother, he screamed, "Let me go." But the shadows only tightened their hold, and in that suffocating grip, he was left wondering, would he fight the darkness, or would he be consumed by it? The floor trembled beneath him, threatening to rip apart as the figure lurking in the shadows drew closer. What waited on the other side of the night? Only time would tell if he was prepared to face the ugly truths lurking in the depths of his own family history. Timmy's heart galloped in his chest as the icy grip around his wrist tightened. The shadows vibrated with a crescendo of whispers that filled his ears, bathing him in a cold sweat. He tried to pull away, but the darkness clung to him with a desperate hunger, like an animal trapped in the throes of survival. "Let go. I want to be a puppet," he shouted, though his voice trembled. The figure before him emerged from the shadows, more defined now, a grotesque mockery of humanity. Its eye sockets were empty voids, and a mouth twisted in a silent scream. It reached out, skeletal fingers groping for Timmy, and at that moment, the air crackled with malevolence. Timmy had hissed, the name slithering out like a serpentine whisper. "You are our hope. You cannot resist your calling." Before he could respond, his mother's hand shot out, breaking through the dark veil with a fierceness that shocked him. "Don't listen. It will deceive you." Her face was a mask of anguish, and he could see the desperation etched in every line, every shadow. Timmy's confusion spiraled. Who should he trust? The mother he had known, or this ghastly apparition promising power and secrets buried in their lineage? "Come to me, Timmy," the figure beckoned, its voice a haunting symphony that tugged on the strings of his mind. "You alone can unearth the truth. Join us, and all will be revealed." The warnings hung heavy between them. Timmy's fingers twitched, the weight of the journal in his pocket awakening again, brimming with forgotten knowledge. Part of him wanted to know long to understand the mysteries of his past. But at what cost? "Mom," he began, his voice barely a whisper. "Run," she screamed, breaking him from the trance. "They'll try to lure you with what you want to hear." Suddenly, With a surge of adrenaline, Timmy ripped his wrist free from the icy grip. He didn't think he bolted toward the door, heart racing, feet pounding against the wooden floor. Behind him, the shadows erupted in chaos, a cacophony of growls and screams swirling with rage. Just as he reached the doorway, a wall of darkness surged forward, and he felt the whispers closing in again, wrapping around him like chains. "Stay? You belong to us." He nearly stumbled as he felt the pull of the shadows, but he thrust open the door and hurled himself into the night air. He collapsed onto the front porch, gasping as the weight of darkness fell behind him, only to be punctuated by silence. But in the quiet, fear still gripped him. Even in the safety of the moonlight, where shadows melted like dark ink, he knew they hadn't given up. He could feel those empty eyes watching, waiting. "No, I want to let them win." He shouted into the stillness, but doubt gnawed at the edges of his mind. What if the answers he sought lay with them? What if they were indeed part of him? Crickets serenaded the night, but their song felt like an elegy echoing the grave. He staggered to his feet, adrenaline still surging through him as he glanced back at the house. His mother's anguished expression haunted him. She had known the truth, and whatever it was meant to stay buried. A sudden rustle in the bushes sent a frigid spike of fear down his spine. He turned sharply, his breath catching as a familiar silhouette emerged, a figure stepping out slowly from the shadows on the edge of the yard. It looked just like his mother, but was bathed in the same ominous glow as the specter inside. "Timmy," it called softly, but the voice was different. Flat, devoid of warmth. The realization struck him with brutal force. This wasn't over. Not yet. "Run," he whispered to himself as dread pulled in his stomach. Facing this doppelganger meant uncovering even more of the sinister legacy woven into his bloodline, a truth he still might not be ready to embrace. Just as he turned, preparing to flee again, the figure stepped closer, and he saw it clearly. Those hollow eyes stared back at him, and within their darkness, he glimpsed a promise of revelations and a promise of doom. "Your time has come, Timmy," he hesitated, the tension snapping taut around him. What truth awaited him at the end of this journey? What secrets lay buried beneath the surface of his life, screaming to be unleashed? Timmy's heart thundered in his chest, a drumbeat of defiance mingling with fear. The figure echoed his mother's familiar shape, yet everything about this specter screamed danger. The air thickened with malice, the whispers returning a low hum that slithered like smoke. "Your time has come, Timmy," it repeated, voice hoarse with an urgency that clawed at him. "Why are you here?" Timmy demanded, summoning every ounce of courage. His feet trembled slightly, yet he stood firm, unwilling to yield. "What do you want from me?" The specter advanced, gliding with an ethereal grace, the moonlight casting flickering shadows across its twisted features. "Knowledge awaits you," it teased, laced with malicious intent. "Your truth lies in the darkness you fear. Embrace it, and you shall be free." Timmy fought against the invisible strings trying to pull him closer. "I don't want to be free in darkness. I want to know who I am." The figure paused, the flickering light revealing a fleeting moment of recognition, unsure of how to respond. "Your mother feared this moment," it said, the words dripping with menace. "She shielded you from truths meant to be inherited. But now, you can't escape what flows in your veins. Leave her out of this." Timmy roared. "Whatever you are, you're not my mother." The specter's hollow eyes gleamed, like voids longing to swallow him whole. "Yet everything about you is connected through her, through each secret she buried." Timmy felt anger igniting within him, erupting like flame against the chill. "I want to let you twist the truth. You are just a reflection of her darker self." The figure halted, shadows swirling around it, each one twisting as if alive. "What you call darkness is just another truth. The lines between right and wrong are thin, Timmy. Look closer, can you see?" Desperation welled within Timmy. Picturing his mother's face, he reflected on all the moments they had together, the laughter, the warmth, everything that felt like home. But shadows loomed over those memories now, whispering of secrets concealed in silence. "I don't need your twisted games," he shouted, stepping back. The ground beneath him shifted, the shadows threatening to consume his resolve. But before he could stumble away, the figure lunged, a swoosh of night, its fingers brushing his arm. He winced at the icy sensation, and suddenly, His mind burst with images, fractured memories of family dinners, venomous arguments shielded by closed doors, shared laughter faded into whispers. Each scene warped into another, morphing into fragmented pieces of his lineage. Connect the dots. Timmy the voice slinked through his thoughts, taunting yet insistent. You owe it to yourself to know. No, he screamed, pushing away, but chains of doubt wrapped tighter around him. Yet amidst the chaos, a flicker of understanding ignited within him, breaking through the noise. Enough, he shouted, his voice a storm. I will decide my fate. As if startled by the surge of clarity, the specter momentarily hesitated, shadows trembling around it. You think you can reject the legacy? Timmy clenched his fists, determination hardening his resolve. Yes, I may not know everything about myself, but I want to be claimed by shadows. I will forge my own path. With one sharp breath, he turned away from the specter, feeling the weight lifted off him as he sprinted across the yard, adrenaline propelling him forward. He bolted through the front gate and into the night. The cold air hit him like a gust of fresh clarity, reminding him of freedom, an echo of his decision resonating deep in his core. But he didn't stop. Each footfall pounded against the earth, whispers of doubt trailing behind like fading shadows. He broke free from the house that had once held the weight of his deepest fears. No longer tethered by the past, he felt empowered. Eventually, Timmy found himself at a clearing, bathed in the silver glow of the moon. Breathless yet alive, he realized he could rewrite the script of his life. Perhaps he wasn't just a pawn. Perhaps he was the author. He thought back to the journal, the tangled truths it contained. With a rush of resolve, he vowed to uncover every piece, but on his own terms. I'll return, he whispered to the night. But this time, I'll guide the shadows. As he turned to head back home, he felt lighter, more whole than before. The specters lingered at the edge of his mind, but they didn't frighten him anymore. Instead, they became a part of his story, a collection of lessons learned, shadows fought, and truths embraced. Timmy stepped into his house again, the threshold now a portal to possibility. Every dark secret awaited him, yet this time he felt ready. The battle fought, the courage found. He was Timmy, not just bound by the past, but fiercely alive in the present, ready to write his own legacy. This was the moment he reclaimed his story. Now, let me take a moment to remind you. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild ending, because I want to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything. Let us keep this incredible journey alive together.